Happy Tuesday, and I hope my reception stays. How's everyone doing? As you see, I have made it to the great outdoors. Super excited. So, I hope everyone's having a wonderful start to their week. And hi, whoever you are. I can't see who you are. So today I just want to chat with you all a little bit about methods. There's some flies and bugs and stuff around, so if you see me swatting, that's what I'm swatting at. But yay, there's trees and there's green, and I'm super excited. So I wanted to chat today about methods. So there's different methods that we can use when we are on our healing journeys. Some are more effective than others. And there is a book that came out. I'll give an example of one method. There's a book that came out quite a while ago. I'll be honest, I haven't read it. I saw part of the movie. It was called Eat, Pray, Love. So that woman had a method that she used on her healing journey of eating, so like sensory, praying, spiritual, and love, getting back in to a healthy emotional state. So that's like a method. It worked really well for her. And the only problem with it is that we cannot all, just travel the world. And, not everyone has that as a method that they can use, although it would be definitely a great method, right? So I wanted to chat a little bit today about the method that I used and am still using on my healing journey, because it is a journey and, it's a lifelong process. This has been my experience. But the method that I've used and that I use in my program, Seeing Myself in a New Light. So actually, I started the method about maybe 4 years ago now. And I didn't even realize it was a method. I did a workshop for some young ladies. It was a self-esteem workshop, and the theme of it was I am significant. And I made like a little acronym from the first part of the word significant using SIG. So seeing inside greatness. So when I started last year putting together my Seeing Myself in a New Light program, what I did was I actually took from that, because when we are on a healing journey, sometimes we don't feel very significant, right? Sometimes we feel shame, sometimes we're angry, sometimes, we're just quiet about things, and we don't always feel very significant. And sometimes even like breakthroughs that we do experience in our healing journey, they may be small and we don't feel that they're very impactful on a day-to-day basis, but every day, that is a significant step. So I kept the idea of I am significant, and I kept the idea of seeing inside greatness, and broke it down into more specific steps. So the first step to my methodology for healing and transforming after heartbreak or a traumatic experience is seeing. So seeing has to do with our perception, how we see things. And trauma can change that. But even before the traumatic event happens, sometimes just how we're raised as children and different things, these things shape our perception, and we know only what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. And so sometimes our perception is already skewed, which leads us into, situations that we may have otherwise avoided if our perception had not been so skewed. And so the first step that is important for taking is changing our perception. So healing our thought patterns, healing how and transforming the way we think, the way we process and perceive information, the way we even process or think about other people's motives towards us, or our motives towards someone else even. So just having and transforming our minds. This also is from a biblical perspective, because it does say we are advised that when we are reborn in Christ, we are to become changed, and it's a process, right? I think people think like, oh, you meet God and, you know, like instantly life is rainbows and fairy tales. It's not, but it's a process of transformation, and it does begin in the mind. It begins in how we think. And so we have to learn new ways to think and process information. So that is, in my program that I have, it's a whole week. It could be longer than a week, but it's like the first 7 steps, okay? And so they're tools to help people who are looking to heal and redefine their identities after a traumatic event, after a heartbreak, right? They're tools that will help over time and with practice transform the thought process. So step number 2 in the methodology is inside. So it does all work together, but the inside of us, that would be our heart, that would be our motives, our emotions. It is very connected with our thought process. It's kind of hard to begin to forgive someone who has hurt us, or begin to forgive ourselves if we're feeling guilty about something, right? It's really hard to have those changes inside of our heart if we haven't begun transforming how we're thinking, right? And so building on those new thought patterns that you're starting to create, you can begin transforming the inside, the heart, the motives. And so I'm sorry, I'm looking at the reflections. There's a window in front of me, and so I'm seeing like and hearing things pass behind me, and I'm like looking in the reflections. I'm sorry, I lost focus. So seeing first step, second step in the methodology, inside, working on that forgiveness, working on the anger, working on whatever those emotions are that you are happening to be processing or struggling with or stuck in. So healing that and transforming that. So that is step 2. That's another, it's like steps 8 through 14 in my program. And then building on that even further, there is the seeing inside greatness. Now, greatness has to do with the outside part of us, because sometimes when our thoughts are skewed and off kilter, right, and they're kind of crooked and they're not working right, and our heart is like kind of feeling very confused, turmoil, anger, frustration, sadness, whatever it happens to be, physically, our physical world, our physical life can get stuck, and also our physical life can become cluttered. So once you start transforming the perspective in your perceptions, and then you start transforming the heart, then you can step into beginning to transform the physical. That could be things like holding your head up and walking confidently, not feeling tempted to just, put your head down in shame. It could be that you are like fake walking into rooms confident, but you will, start feeling and presenting yourself in your physical space differently. Now, this can also even have to do with the physical environment around you. So, what does that look like? What does the space around you look like? What's your landscape, so to speak, look like? So when I was on my healing journey at the very beginning, one thing I noticed was that not only was my mind cluttered, not only with, just like confusion, not only was my heart cluttered with all sorts of negative emotions, my closet was cluttered. I had clutter everywhere. So you know, I was looking and I was realizing that like the things in my mind, the things in my heart, right? Those things were actually manifesting themselves into the physical. And so that third part, the third method is to begin transforming the physical environment. So that can be everything from how you feel about yourself physically to like your physical surrounding landscape. So this is, you know, the method that I use. It is multi-layered, so it goes very deep, and it covers a lot of different things, right? It's covering the mind, the heart, and the physical. So seeing inside greatness, SIG, and it's short for I am significant, because no matter where we are on our healing journeys, we are significant. Our lives are important. Our emotions and the hurt that we may feel, that's important. It is significant. It's not something to be just brushed under a rug. It's not something to be just ignored. It's not something to be just pretend like everything's fine. So knowing that your pain, your experiences, all of that is significant, and those things are going to be significant in your future, because as you transform, you're going to become, you know, the powerful woman and the powerful man of God that you were created to be, and you will begin to see yourself in a new light. But in order to see yourself in a new light, you have to see in your mind, you have to work on the heart inside, and then the greatness around you as well will follow. So SIG is my method, and that's what I wanted to just share with you. If anyone has any more questions about my method, feel free. You know, you can drop a question in the comments. You can also shoot me a DM if you feel a little too vulnerable to, you know, drop it in the comments. You know, just shoot me a DM. If you have a method that you have used or, you know, works really well for you, feel free to share it. This is a community. I want us to also, you know, be able to encourage each other and uplift each other. So feel free to, you know, share any methods that you have tried that have worked for you in your healing journey. And so that was today's message to you all. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll be back on later in the week. All right. Have a great night. Peace.